Coding's changing faster than ever. I still remember all the way back in 2022 when I first started playing with Copilot. I never could have imagined that we would have all of these agents running and building real software from scratch, as well as contributing to large real code bases. It's unbelievable. I never thought we would be here. That's also why I never thought I would build a developer tool outside of things like libraries and infrastructure. I never saw myself building an IDE. And I still don't. But something has changed. That something is the Codex app. There have been other things like it, but this one broke my brain. The ability to break your work up into different projects, having multiple threads running in parallel or sequentially, however you choose, changed how I write code. It turned my editor back into an editor that I go to just to look at and change code. And it also changed my relationship with the projects I'm working on because it became easier than ever to work in parallel and just get things done. I started shipping way more code when I first got access to the Codex app, but it quickly started breaking down for me. And not just me, the rest of my team too. From the performance issues to the lackluster work tree implementation to, most importantly, the lock-in on just Codex models, I wanted something different. And most importantly, I wanted something open source so that I and others could contribute to what we are trying to make. I wanted something that we could build on top of and trust and use at the very least as a starting point or a bit of a sandbox for where application development is going. And that's why Julius and I have spent far too much time building T3 Code, which we have just dropped the alpha for. T3 Code is entirely free and open source. It is built to be a desktop application as well as a web app that you use via a package to make it as easy as possible to build in this highly concurrent way with agents. Your first question might be, well, if it doesn't cost anything, where does the inference come from? Right now, we require that you have a Codex subscription and that you're using the Codex CLI, but we do have plans to support lots of other options in the future, from open code to Claude Code to Cursor and even Gemini. I think there's a lot of value in supporting everything with an application like this. Even today, as I was prepping for launch, I found myself leaving T3 Code to go work in Claude Code in the terminal quickly to do like UI changes and whatnot, because the Codex models still aren't great at web development and UI in particular. I want to be very clear in that this app is early. There's a lot of cool things we're trying, and I couldn't be more excited for them, but we're still in the early stages of development, and I wanted to bring it out in the open so that we could all work on it together. Our biggest focus right now is getting to rough feature parity with existing options without compromising on performance. Our app flies. You can have gigantic threads with no issue. I had to nuke my database right before going live for this, so I don't have any great examples. But if you watch my other videos, you can see this app does not slow down even under crazy load with lots of separate projects running in parallel. And if you want to run things in parallel within a given project, we have you covered there with the work tree workflows that Julius has been working on absurdly hard. Ready for the cleanest slop workflow you've ever seen? This blue color around the inputs kind of just stayed from an early build and I've been too lazy to change it. Let's do that. Can we tone down the blue highlight on the input box when focused? And while this is running, I want to show you guys some other really cool things we did here, because there's a different way you can launch the app. If you want to try this app out without installing anything, just as a quick one-off run, you can use npx t3. Right now it's at alpha. I'm going to change that later. And with this command, you will spin up the package locally, and it will launch a web view where you can use T3 Code the exact same way you would in the app. I personally really prefer having a desktop app simply because it's a different thing to command tab into and out of, and I like using my browser for other stuff. But if you do want to try it out without installing everything, you can get the vast majority of the experience here. We currently only support the Codex CLI, so you're required to have it installed already and set up with auth, either with an API key or with traditional sign-in. That means that we don't charge anything, because again, it is free and open source. We do intend to support other harnesses going forward. This is actually one of the distinctions between T3 Code and other tools. Things like Open Code, as much as we love them, are building their own harness from scratch. So the AI runs in their thing. With T3 Code, we're using the harnesses provided by the official labs. So with Codex, we're using the official Codex CLI with the app server, and it runs in the background on your computer. We're not giving the agents custom tools or anything to make changes. They are using the CLIs. We just built a better interface on top. And that's why we intend to support things like Claude Code through the Agent SDK SDK or the cursor through the cursor CLI, OpenCode as well, and even Gemini. We chose this path because we find the models work best in the harness that they were built around, especially now that they're RLing so hard on those exact harnesses. We also want to make sure that subscriptions people have for all of these different platforms will work inside of T3 code always. Rather than trying to steal your auth credentials and shove them into some other tool, we are trying to use the existing solution with a better UI. A harness is the set of tools an agent is given access to in order to do things like search the web, edit files, run commands, and all of that. And the harnesses have gotten more and more complex, and we don't believe a generic one is the right solution to get something great for all devs with all models. We think this path makes more sense, and for any lab that doesn't have their own specific harness, we do intend to support OpenCode in the future. This is part of what makes us different, though. The OpenCode desktop app requires you to use the OpenCode harness. Our desktop app lets you use any harness. Well, it will once we get the parts out that will allow that. I want to show off the T3 code workflow a little bit more here. This is the change I just requested, toning down the blue in the border ring. We have a little button that Julius added here for GitHub. And when you click it, it will generate a commit message, commit the changes, push to a branch, and create a PR, all with one click with everything handled for you. It has never been easier to go from idea to PR in real code bases. And this combines so well with the other features. If you kick off some work and then want to go do something else, or you notice something else you want to change, Command-Shift-O, you're still in work tree mode. I want to do something else. Submit that, and you can go right back to the thread you were in, all running safely in their own isolated work trees. And you can even use Command-J to open up the terminal for that work tree. I've even went as far as using this to go do work in the terminal in other apps once the work tree is created, because I really like Julius's work tree workflows. That said, they are still early, and we are exploring other things we can do with them going forward. We have all sorts of fun things we're hoping to add support for in the future, from running your agents remotely, like on a different box in your network, like, everyone's got a Mac Mini now, right? Or running in the cloud as well. We also obviously want to support all of the other agents that we can run through our UI. And to be very, very clear, we are not building our own harness. We did not make our own agentic framework for the agents to run in because we don't think we can do better than the major labs. Rather than trying to reinvent everything with our own harness, like many other solutions have, we have decided to use the harnesses that are provided by the labs. In the times where the labs aren't providing one, lean on some good standards like OpenCode. The official agent harnesses have so much work and iteration going on in them that I don't really want to leave them behind. I just want to leave the terminal behind. I love the terminal. It's a great experience for things that you would normally do in a terminal. But as soon as you're doing things like hopping between threads, pasting images, scrolling, copy pasting, searching, all of those types of things just fall apart in a CLI interface. And I found myself using the terminal more as a result of T3 code. I know that sounds crazy, but the terminal going back to being a terminal has actually been really nice for me in my own development. And I bet a lot of you will be surprised as well. If you're skeptical of this project and you don't necessarily think it's the right fit for you, I implore you to give it a shot because I think you'll be surprised. We're still very early, but I wanted to get this out ASAP so that people could start using it now, experimenting, figuring out what does and doesn't work, and most importantly, talking with us. We built the app of our dreams. This is the tool we like to use every single day, and we've been shipping so much code with it. But I don't want a tool that's just good for us. I want a tool that's good for all of developers. Since this is so early, though, we're not accepting contributions just yet. If you write an issue that has detailed feedback as well as a suggested prompt for us to run, we'll do our best to run it. And if you can show us what the outputs look like if you're making a UI change with a screenshot in the app, that would be really helpful too. But at this point in time, we will not be accepting pull requests from external contributors. That's very likely to change in the future. We're just trying to get this done ASAP right now. People are asking, do I prefer this over Codex? Yes, I built it because I loved Codex overall, but I found so many small problems with it, especially around performance, that I just got frustrated. The Codex CLI is open source, and the Codex app server that they use to build the Codex app, those are all open source too, but the Codex desktop app isn't, which has made it really hard for us to fix the problems that we have. And especially I appreciate the OpenAI team and how willing they are to take feedback and make changes. I wanted something that we owned, not just we as in my team, but we as in the open source community. I wanted something that we could build together that isn't restricted by what one specific lab wants, what one specific harness does, or even forcing us to build our own external subscription service. And the fact that Julius and I, honestly, mostly Julius the last few weeks, has managed to build this ourselves from scratch shows just how powerful these tools are, and also that something like this should belong to the community. If it wasn't for him, there is no way this project would have gotten good, much less released. I started this on a whim out of curiosity and frustration with the performance I was seeing in other apps. I even tried building my own native solution because I was so curious what causes these things to be slow. I found Electron was the best performance overall across platforms. Roast me all you want, you're fucking wrong. And once I had everything built and roughly working, I showed it to Julius, who I couldn't really stop. When I streamed a few weeks ago, I told him, hey, I'm going to be busy today. You can take over the project. You can run from main here. And I never got it back. I've never seen someone ship quite as hard as Julius has, especially after he got it to the point where he could use T3 code to build T3 code. It's far from the most accurate thing in the world, but Macroscope's dashboard shows how much coding time it thinks devs did during a sprint. It thinks that in the last week, Julius did over 1,200 hours of code. And we go to other weeks like last week, it's only 819 hours or 923. You'll see that the sheer volume that Julius is shipping at is insane. Most of that is him and how well he's figured out how to do true agentic engineering. And he's built T3 code to be the best tool in the world for that type of throughput. And I'm really proud of what we've built. And I'm really proud of Julius for making all of this possible. So make sure to give him a follow. I see a lot of people asking about platform availability. This is a thing that we took really seriously, wanted to make sure we got it right, which is why we support everything. There will obviously be bugs in certain platforms, like making sure Windows with WSL works and all of those types of things is difficult. Please share any issues you encounter with the team so we can get them fixed ASAP. We also intend to support Linux. Right now, we only have an app image, but we're down to support other ways of bundling for Linux as well. And remember, it's fully open source, and you have the package you can run instead through the npx t3 command, which should solve most of your problems. One last thing, in the spirit of open source, part of what we wanted to do here is show how we're building, which is why I made the decision to not wipe our history on GitHub. You can see everything here, all 877 commits of utter chaos. You can see Julius and I ramping up how much we used agents, but also ramping up how much attention we paid and how hard we were working to try and steer them in the directions that we wanted. And I'm really happy with where we landed. Obviously, I'm not saying you should go copy every single thing about how we're building. I just want you guys to see how we're building, because I think there's a lot of cool lessons to learn from it. I am seeing one question over and over, and I want to make sure we address it. T3 code is not part of T3 chat. This is a separate open source project that we built because we wanted it. We aren't charging any money. We don't know if we'll charge money in the future, but we could see ourselves in the future building some type of subscription that bundles multiple models and their harnesses and one thing you pay for. Not a high priority for us just yet. We have lots of other things we want to build first. We built this because we wanted it, not because we want to make money from it. If you guys have things you want that make sense for us to charge for in the future, we aren't opposed to it, but it is far from our focus right now. We just want to make something great. That's all I have for now. Let me know how y'all feel about this launch, and until next time, keep prompting.